Beautiful day for some inspiration. What would I do without you, my beautiful tray? Hold on, tray, I'll feed you in a minute. Welcome to another episode of Me, Myself and My Tray. Today we're making peanut, banana, miso and caramel brownies. Super delicious, decadent, and just full of flavor. We got banana, miso and peanut butter. We got our malt powder, flour, salt, and some chocolate drops, Bake Stable. We got our butter and some milk chocolate, our eggs, whole eggs, sugar, and that's it. Okay, so let's get into it. Today's recipe is super simple. It's a brownie with caramel and miso and banana and peanut butter. So it sounds like it's got a lot going on in a way, but all those flavors just connect, meld together, really create a balance with all different characteristics that they hold. So the one key thing whenever you make a brownie is do not mix it very much. It's really just bring it together. Let's get it into a tin and bake it off. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is gonna mix our eggs and sugar together, get them going, get those sugars starting to dissolve in those eggs while we go and melt the chocolate. So let's get that. Let's first add the eggs into the bowl. In goes the sugar. So we just mix it together and we're gonna leave it. So we've got milk chocolate and our unsalted butter. I'm gonna pop that into the microwave, melt that. And remember when you're melting chocolate in the microwave, put it in for a minute, and then after that, just 30-second increments or 10-second increments, whatever you feel comfortable with, but don't put it in for 5 minutes and walk away, because most likely it'll burn. I'll be back. Okay, so we've melted our chocolate now in the microwave, and chocolate and butter, sorry, both together. And now we're gonna add that into our egg mixture. Just grate that out. I'm just gonna mix that through. Just gently mix that through. Okay, so we get a bit of a batter going on there now. So now we're gonna add in our banana, peanut butter, and miso. And what I'm gonna do is just gonna squash that. Now when you get the bananas, try and get the ripest bananas you can. Obviously to get more of that intense flavor that bananas develop as they get older and start to ripen. I like to put them in the freezer, and they get really fermenty, kind of not taste, but like they get really sludgy and strong flavor. Really good for brownies and cakes and stuff like that. Okay, once that's roughly all come together, we're gonna add that in with our chocolate and eggs. Okay, we just wanna mix that together. We've mixed that together. Last thing we're gonna add in now is our dry ingredients. We've got our malted milk powder, our flour, our salt, and we've got our little chocolate drops. So now they just go in. And just mix it together. Just gently. Okay, so we bring that together now. You see we've got this beautiful lush cake batter going on. All the different smells. We can smell the peanut butter and the miso, the chocolate, the banana. But like I said, don't need to mix it very much. Just bring it together. That's it. Okay. We've got our tray, I've greased it, I've sprayed it with canola spray, and I've just lined the bottom of it with some parchment paper or baking paper. And now we're gonna pour our brownie batter into it, and that's it. We're ready to put it in the oven. We're gonna bake that at 170 degrees. It'll take a fair chunk, right? Probably about 40 to 50 minutes, and really depending on the oven, it could be an hour. You're just gonna need to check and just keep your eye on it, and make sure that it's cooked all the way through, but still nice and fudgy and dense inside. So let's go and pour that batter in to the tray. delicious. It's all in there. Just give it a light tap to make sure it levels out evenly, as it's a bit of a liquid batter, so it's easy to level out without having to spread it. Now I'm going to pop that in the oven, and we're going to cook that for about 40-50 minutes, like I said. And just a little bit of info to throw in there. The tray size that I use is 9 inches by 13 inches, and that's the size of the batch of the batter that I've made and the recipe's for. So I'm going to go into the oven. See you later. Okay, we have peanut butter, unsalted butter, vanilla, and miso paste. In here we have our sugar, and in here we have our cream. Okay, now our brownie's in the oven. We're going to move on to make the caramel, which is going to top the top of our brownie and give us a delicious gooiness and just that bit of sweet saltiness on top. Okay, let's get cracking. First thing I'm going to do is going to heat up the cream. Obviously, because I'm just using one stove, I only have one ability to heat at one time. So I'm going to heat this up first, sit it to the side, and then we're going to caramelize our sugar. And this warm cream is just to deglaze the sugar, obviously to stop the cooking process. And we want that to be hot, because if it's cold, it'll obviously seize that sugar and stop the cooking process. So into the saucepan. Okay, so our cream's heated up. We're going to take that off the heat now, set it to the side. We're going to pop on another saucepan. And we're going to heat up that saucepan slightly, yeah, because we're going to dry caramelize this sugar, which means there's no water involved or no liquids, just dry sugar. We're going to caramelize that and then deglaze that with that cream. So the first thing I'm going to do while it's heating up as well, I'm going to put a layer of sugar on the surface, so that way we know when it's got some heat in it, as we know the sugar's going to start to dissolve. So spread an even layer over the top. We want to keep it at the lightest stage as possible while it's dissolving, and then we're going to let it caramelize fully. So we get the color, the smell, the taste, all those beautiful things going on. And it's starting to happen now. Okay, so we're starting to see the sugar become transparent. I'm going to add another layer in there. More sugar, keep layering it up. And what will happen, the same thing will happen to that sugar we just added into that sugar that's dissolved. That sugar that's dissolved, with that heat, it's going to start sucking all those crystals down. They'll start to dissolve themselves. You'll start to see a little bit of caramelization. And when you see that, you want to give the pan a shake. I'm going to add another layer in. Okay, so I'm going to add that last little bit of sugar in. Okay, so now we're getting really close to being right on the money, right? You can start to see that little bit of smoke coming off the top. The color's changing. We're just about to deglaze it. So right now is where you want to pay attention as you deglaze, getting to that point. Okay, now we're going to deglaze. So we're adding in that cream that we warmed up before, and that's going to stop the cooking process. We're just going to keep whisking that, let it cook a little bit, 1 or 2 minutes, just to fully come together and make sure that it's combined. So I've taken the caramel off the heat, and now I'm just going to let that rest for about 5 minutes on the bench, and then we're going to let that cool down a little bit, and then we're going to add in all our fats. So we've got our butter, peanut butter, our miso paste, our vanilla, and a little bit of salt, and that's all going to go in last. And we're going to blend that in, and that's going to become our beautiful caramel to go on top of our brownie. Our caramel has cooled down slightly. I've left it for about 5 minutes. You just start to see it thicken up, but it just loses that initial massive heat retention that obviously when caramel's cooking it's very high. So we're going to add that caramel into this jug right now. So now we're going to add our fats and our miso paste into the caramel. So, hand blender, in we go. Okay, so we've blended all that in now, and the smell in the room is just out of this world. That peanut butter, the miso, it's just rocking, right? And that little bit of vanilla just creates a beautiful scent that's just wafting under my nose, and it's absolutely delicious. It just makes me want to grab the brownie out of the oven and just start dipping it in. It's insane. Okay, so once that's done, obviously take that out, scrape down any excess off the blade, and we're just going to sit that caramel aside for a little bit till that brownie comes out of the oven. Beautiful. Our brownie, we're just taking it out of the oven. It smells amazing. So we're going to let that sit there 10-15 minutes, let it cool slightly, and then we're going to pour that caramel over the top, dress it with some salted peanuts, and that is done really. And then we'll let that cool completely to the side for an hour or two, or we can put it in the fridge, speed that up, and then we can just cut it and have a slice, or divide it up, do what you want with it. Munch out, pig in, dig in, let's have some fun. Okay, so our brownie's cooled down pretty much nearly all the way. Still got a little bit of warmth in it, but I'm going to put the caramel in now, and then I'm going to let it cool down the rest of the way. I'm probably going to throw it in the fridge for a bit so that I can get it to a consistency where it's able to cut, just to show you the inside and so forth. So let's get into it. So we've got our caramel that we made, looking lush. So we're going to very simply, just going to pour this over the top of our brownie. That. Delicioso. This is just going to give us another beautiful little texture on top of that cakey brownie, that chewy, gooey, fudgy, cakey brownie. We're going to get this luscious caramel, right? It's going to be like nutty and salty, sweet, a little bit bitter, you know, all that umami kind of taste. And that's just going to take this to the next level. Okay, so let's give that just a little tap to level it out. Got some peanuts now that have been lightly roasted, and we're just going to scatter them over the top. And it's going to just add a little bit of crunchy texture, deepen that peanut taste and experience. So, like, once again, you can add as many or as less as you want if you don't like peanuts that much, but I'm going to give it a good whack. Okay, so I've scattered those peanuts over the top. Last thing left to do is a little bit of sea salt. We're just going to give it a little bit of, very lightly, because we've already got salty elements and everything. We're just going to give it a little bit more of a pizzazz, you know? Okay, so last thing to do, like I said, just a little light sprinkle of salt. Cool. I'm going to set this aside to cool for a while, and we're going to come back, cut it, eat some, and just see how delicious it really is. Okay, we're back. So now we've had our brownie and our caramel on top chilling away. I've had it in the fridge, but like I said, you can have it either way, depending on your time. But the fridge is probably the easiest, quickest way to get it set. And then you want to eat these bad boys at room temperature. Always remember that. So you don't want to eat them out of the fridge. Brownies out of the fridge are quite hard and dense, and they're not bad, they're just a different texture. So just make sure that you pick the texture that you like. Room temp is the best, I always recommend. Okay, so let's get into this. We're going to start to cut a slice so you can see the inside. I'm going to taste a bit, give you my feedback on what I think of what I've made, and wrap it up. Okay, so I'm just going to run. I'm just using a little small knife to run around the edge. Now I'm going to heat up a knife. I'm just using a heat gun, just from a hardware store. Pretty simple heat gun. Use a blowtorch if you have one as well. And pick your size. We can go down through it. Okay, so I've got that first piece out. Now I'm going to cut into some even little bars. I'll just trim the edge. The edges are good. I'll cut into some nice little brownie bars. Like so. Okay, so we've cut it into 5 little even bars, cut out of our quarter of brownie that we took out. Now it's time to taste. Let's give these a whack. Those brownies look delicious. Absolutely beautiful. Can't wait to tuck into these. Very simple to make and just super delicious. Real easy, great snack. Even dessert, right? A little scoop of ice cream or something like on a plate. Oh, yum. So decadent. These would be awesome dipped in chocolate, enrobed in chocolate. Out of this world. Caramelly. The brownie's soft and chewy. Got so much body. A little bit of banana fragrance. The saltiness and those umami sort of flavors from the miso. The nuttiness from the peanuts. And just that caramel, that luscious, unctuous caramel. It's just coating my mouth. Now, try these out, tuck into them, give them a go. They're delicious. If you really enjoyed making these and watching this, obviously click like and subscribe so we can make more of these videos and bring you way more delicious treats and things to bake, cook, make, cake, all those things. Enjoy.
You were amazingly delicious in there today. I just couldn't keep my eyes off you. All I wanted to do was eat you.
Where are we going for dinner?
Bon appetit!